Una, Tyrone Howard, and Melina Abdullah as they signed copies of The Covenant with Black America 20 years later. You can purchase your books on site and get them autographed. That's Wednesday evening, August 14th, 6 to 9 p.m. in the city of Los Angeles. Admission is free, but you must register at KBLA1580.com. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
And you better talk to me nicely. Next to blow lip, that might be. Oh, can't forget all the days they overpriced me. So now that we up, don't get advice, we know. Talk to me nicely. I noticed they hit it, we getting icy. Whoa, can't forget all the moments they overpriced me. So now that we up, don't get advice, we know. We on top, flipping the bird, they going sick. But I'ma make them eat every word, so don't trip. Yeah, even with all the bridges they burn, I won't switch. Even with all this water we dripping, we won't slip. Yeah, Blast Bear Bond in the building, he don't miss. But we call it success when your circle is all rich. If you a big stepper, don't trip over small. I call it how I see it, but never gon' call it quits. I won't, yeah, I won't. But what do I hold it? I don't even know.
KBLA Talk 1580. That blast. Talk to me nicely. Call me. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. Okay, so a couple things I want to point out on this Talking Point Tuesday. First of all, the talking point that Kamala Harris stole the idea of not taxing tips. Well, maybe she was inspired to say it by Trump, but here's the difference. If Trump stops taxing tips, he'll do it as an excuse not to raise the minimum wage. He'll do it because, well, now you're not paying taxes on tips. You don't need a raise. He'll do it in a way that undermines workers. If Vice President Kamala Harris becomes president and stops taxing tips, which of course Congress would have to do that anyway because it would be a law, it will be an accompaniment to a raising of the minimum wage, which is long overdue, long overdue. And I think there's an important distinction there, okay? I just want to say that. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. The other thing I want to say is I just really want to say rest in peace to Jackie Goucher, the mother of Davion, Sir, and D Smoke, three powerful artists, and she's a powerful artist in her own right, a recording artist herself, a singer. She was in a serious car accident back in March, and apparently she never recovered from that. It's a huge loss for that family. It's a huge loss for LA and for music. And, you know, she was a classically trained pianist, a singer, and a mama who raised three boys that are all successful artists. I mean, she sang with Michael Jackson, with Tina Turner, with Stevie Wonder, Quincy Jones. She wrote 4 books, and it's just really sad. I think that I saw a post on social media. I follow all 3 of her sons, and they've asked, you know, for privacy and space at this time. And so prayer, I think, is the most appropriate. Prayer and tributes to her and you know, and love for the family. I know Sir is actually coming in concert next week. I haven't seen anything about those shows being canceled. I hope that if he decides to go ahead and perform, which he may well do, sometimes working is the best way to get through grief. I was on the radio the day after my dad died because I knew that's where he would want me to be. He always liked it when I was on the radio for some reason. Well, because he grew up. You know, when radio was like TV back then, they would wait for their shows and really listen. Maybe the best thing to do is sell out his shows and just, you know, all of their shows and just give an outpouring of love because it's a really tragic loss. So rest in peace to Miss Jackie Goucher. We're going to go to Paul calling us from Los Angeles. Good morning, Paul.
Good morning, Dominique. How you doing today?
I'm blessed. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. I got kind of triggered. I have to hop in because I can't be having anybody coming online disrespecting our black women. That's off limits, especially Kamala Harris. So
yeah.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're talking about Terry.
Yes, because no matter what you call your name is and what you try to disguise it, we know your voice, man, and we understand what you are. For people that don't know, on social media, there are people reading scripts. It's already been proven. These are what we call ops. So you're going to hear the same talking points every single time because the goal is to depress the vote. Ignore the distraction. We got work to do.
Can I ask you a question, Paul?
Yes.
How did you become such a news junkie? How did you become, because you be up on stuff. How did you get, drawn into politics, to news, and to activism?
Grew up around mentors that really cared about the community of all races. Some of my biggest people that pushed me were people of all races that weren't just strictly black, but also I read what they see, to get the facts, and because I know how people's views are skewed by where they're getting their information from, and especially amongst our demographic and a race of people, we watch a lot of TV, and what happens is when things are thrown out, we don't take the time to really fact check it. So what happens is half truths and disinformation and misinformation ends up getting thrown out. And what I try to do, especially when I deal with these brothers in the street, is I try to provide them the facts. No, this is what actually it is. That's not true, right? And I don't bat 1,000 on it. Do not get me wrong. I don't bat 1,000 on it. But there are some that say, thank you, I did not know that. And I remind people, everybody's on their phones 24/7. It takes 2 seconds to fact check something to understand the context behind it.
But you got to know how to do that, right? I mean, to fact check something on your phone. Like, for me, media literacy 101, Paul, would be something like take the headline or the main name in the story that you're talking about in the main headline and put it into Yahoo News or Google News and see what comes up. If nothing comes up on it, it may very well be made up. If a lot comes up on it, look at what a left-leaning publication like Huffington Post says, and then look at what a right-leaning conservative place like Wall Street Journal says, and then compare them, and you can use your common sense.
Yes, you would think so. Dominique, there's something really big about this I wanted to share with people. What's going on right now is, if you understand history, and Joe Biden's our current president, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'm going to read a quote to you that came out of Joe Biden's mouth himself. Every time that the Ku Klux Klan has been involved, they wore hoods, so they are not unidentified. Under Trump's presidency, they come out of those woods with no hoods, knowing they have an ally. So when people wonder why we're going backwards and who are the people that are moving us backwards, for anyone that knows history, in the past, our civil rights movement, you can legislate all you want to, but what ended up bankrupting the Ku Klux Klan in the past was the courts and the judges that were in office upheld the law and the Constitution. What's going on now is they reverse engineered it, and they have put people in power in certain positions. They call it Trumpism, but in reality, they're so far beyond Donald Trump that they only need a Republican because the party has pushed that way already. They already moved that way. It needs to reform itself. As a black man that cares about my people and my community, I could never, ever disrespect my people and that have died, bled, and cried for the opportunities I have today and not look at these babies and not do the same for them. It's always about black progression. Ignore the noise. We got a job to do. Your vote matters. If your vote didn't matter so much, they would not be working so hard to take it from you.
Yeah, I think that's right. I found the story that Terry was talking about. This woman who was at a rally in Atlanta, who a black woman, pretty woman, who was kissing Trump, and she said that he saved her college, and he was saying, joking around that she gave me a kiss and I'm never going home to the first lady, like he was flirting with her. And she apparently has an organization called Conserve the Culture, which is meant to bring conservative values to HBCUs. And again, this woman becomes a talking point. I don't know if she was paid. Go ahead.
You know why, Dominique? That's interesting. It's because Donald Trump, during his administration, divested from black HBCUs. The Biden-Harris administration invested $16 billion into HBCUs. See, as a black person, our goal is infrastructure, rebuilding infrastructure, capital coming into our community, black entrepreneurship. Those are things that matter. See, they're using a lot of talking points because they know that man's base has shrunk. So they need people to either vote third party or they need them to not show up to the polls. That's all this is. It's to create voter apathy.
Now, Donald Trump did sign a bill to bring funding back to HBCUs while he was president. He did not write the bill. And certainly, to your point, Paul, the Biden-Harris administration has upped the ante and increased funding significantly for HBCUs, which is not surprising since she graduated from one. But I don't think it's fair to say that he divested from them, is it?
Yeah, because we're talking millions. I'm talking billions. There's a big difference there.
This was, and by the way, that wasn't new funding. That was funding that had been in place for years.
From Obama.
That Congress didn't renew, and then they brought it back up again, and he signed it. So it actually restored funding that had existed prior to the Trump presidency.
Right. And you know what? I want to share this with people, too. You know who Ann Coulter is, right? Far right.
Yes, I do. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so remember the whole when he went on in front of those black journalists and said, I don't know if she's black or not? I just wanted to read this quote that came out of her mouth. Kamala isn't a foundational black and is running on the news over there now. So don't tell me these people, and that was shared amongst the same group of people to cause discontent and division. One thing that should never, ever be up for debate is our blackness. All shades of black are beautiful. And it's beyond disrespectful. You say you care about our people. 10 of the last 11 recessions occurred and were started under Republican presidencies. They are going to run on culture wars because they cannot run on policies. We care about policies because policies are how we build our infrastructure in the black community.
Yeah, and here's the thing about Ann Coulter. I didn't realize she had made this, but I see it. She wrote a column called "Is Kamala Black?" And what that does is it absolutely affirms what I said before, Paul, which is that the reason Trump got up in front of the NABJ and had the audacity to question Kamala Harris's blackness is because he's getting it from the Mark Carters of the world. He's getting it from the Tariq Nasheeds of the world because they say that she's not a foundational black American because her parents are immigrants and she doesn't trace her roots back to the American slavery project. She is Jamaican and Indian, and her parents were immigrants. Interestingly enough, her parents were progressives. Interestingly enough, she doesn't have a white parent, which is why I was, Dr. Umar over here putting her in the snow bunny category. But she doesn't have any white parents. Anyway, I don't even know why I'm addressing that. But the reason I'm saying this is because we have to understand that this branch of the black family tree that's attacking people for being so-called tethers and saying, you're not FBA, you're not ADOS or whatever, and deciding that they are the arbiters of who is black and who isn't, has emboldened the Ann Coulters and the Trumps of the world. And they think they can say out of their mouths what Yvette Carnell and Tariq Nasheed are saying out of their mouths. And and that's terrible, stupid, racist, wrong, but also really problematic. So now are we going to have panels to decide who's black? Are we going to you have to pass some kind of test? Who made you? That is, to me, cultural imperialism. Like, who put you in charge of who's black and who's not black? Race is just a made up social construct anyway, based on phenotype. So if you're saying she's not a black American, you could say her parents are immigrants, but Kamala Harris she grew up in Oakland, okay? Don't mistake our kindness for weakness. She's from the Bay. She went to an HBCU. She's an AKA. She looked black. You guys are mad she's married to a white guy, but you want to blame her for dating a black guy. Get over yourself. I think this is why I was always talking about we have to understand the difference between ethnicity, race, culture, right? Nationality. You could throw religion in there. And don't be confused. I mean, J.D. Vance's own wife is being subjected to racist attacks by MAGA operatives because she's Indian. And they're saying he's pro-immigrant. And why would you marry someone who allegedly isn't even Christian? I mean, we cannot allow white people to get so doggone comfortable that they think they can attack our blackness. It's bad enough when we do it. We continue the conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580. Tavis is like George and Wheezy. He's moving on up. Last year, Tavis was number 45 on the Talkers Magazine list of the 100 most important radio talk show hosts in America. Wait for it. Wait for it. The 2024 list was recently released, and Tavis has jumped to number 33 on the list of the nation's most important talkers, making him the highest-ranked African-American on the coveted roster. Congratulations to Tavis Smiley from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580. We've got you black.
To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelinos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
Our daughter Jessie loves playing detective.
But since we discovered she has sensitive skin, we've been playing detective too.
We thought the problem was our puppy.
But it was actually our old detergent. So we switched to Tide Free and Gentle.
Tide Free and Gentle has no dyes or perfumes, so it's gentle on her skin.
If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Free and Gentle. This back-to-school season, Tide and Downy are giving back with $1.5 million in scholarships. Enter to win. No purchase necessary. US/DC 17+. End September 30th. Rules. Tide.com/scholarship/official rules.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust new Febreze car vent clips, now with 3 times greater scent control, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with new Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing, which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Right. So Paul was pointing out this article, this line of really argument by Ann Coulter. And it's really interesting because what she does is she takes the FBA argument and twists it all around to say that basically she's saying this country has already paid reparations in the form of affirmative action, that no remedy is needed for any of the other racism, for Jim Crow or subsequent harms, redlining, none of that. It's just, she narrowly begrudgingly agrees that black people who are the descendants of enslaved Africans should be recognized and compensated, but she is claiming it's already done through affirmative action. And then she goes on to pit immigrants of color against black Americans in a very exacting way, including going through the entire MSNBC roster and pointing out that most of the people of color there are immigrants or children of immigrants, and that thus they're benefiting from black people. Yeah, that's true. From black Americans who've opened doors. That is true. But she ends by saying that Kamala Harris is demanding affirmative action, that she's demanding reparations almost, that really are only meant for black Americans, and she's the daughter of immigrants. Kamala Harris is running for president. She's not demanding anything other than your vote. The question is she black? Not the question is she American, which that's what her nationality is. Ethnicity, where are your people from? Black and Indian. Nationality, American, born in the USA. American passport, Oaktown, Bay Area. Culture, HBCU, Oaktown, prosecutor. That's culturally, right? Religion, Christian. Yep. And so I think when we, what we're seeing here is Ann Coulter, who's not as dumb as Trump, making a very sophisticated argument and twisting the intentions of ADOS and FBA persons to edge out any person of color or gay person or woman benefiting from any program that's meant to counter their past discrimination, dividing us from one another so we can have less power, and conveniently making an argument against reparations, which ADOS and FBA are constantly saying therefore. She's using their arguments to say we've already paid reparations. And then she ends by saying, why would you vote for a party that hates you because you're white? And that all of these programs discriminate against white people. And I think that's one of the reasons they're flummoxed by the Harris campaign. Not only is she married to a white Jewish American man, her running mate is a progressive white guy from the heartland of America. Clearly, as the joyful warrior thing is not giving, we hate white people. So now what? Paul, since you brought that up, I wasn't even aware of that egregious. She's just so awful all the time. I want to go ahead and let you land.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that the goal has always been to divide and conquer. I would argue with even both parties, they've always flirted with the Southern strategy, right? And a Democrat in Los Angeles, California is totally different than a Democrat in West Virginia. That's why your local and state matters just as much as the presidential. And I'm happy you brought up the Obama situation. When I hear a lot of people talk bad about Obama, the first response I give them is, did you show up in 2010? We show up only in presidential elections. There's already been reports that we're typically on average percentage-wise voting in the high 40s to low 60%. When we vote our numbers, we can have progress, but the difference is we have to stay consistent. Voting is only a part of the work. It's what we're doing locally and keeping those leaders accountable for what our demands are within the community. Yeah. Thank you, Dominique.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. And we knew Obama was a moderate when we elected him. And, And he doesn't get credit among progressives for the things that he did do, i.e. the Affordable Care Act. Yes, I get it. The insurance companies are still in charge, but so many more people are covered than there were before. Pre-existing conditions, and you can keep your kid on your insurance. These are things that concretely make people's lives better, okay? Not to mention the Lilly Ledbetter Act, which no one talks about, and numerous other things that former President Obama did that were powerful and important. Was he a progressive? No. Did he ever say he was a progressive? No. I believe he was part of the repair because he opened the door for the moment we're having now. And us finally having a black president, albeit the son of an immigrant and a foundational white American, which is not a thing. I think that is important and worth pointing out because people like to throw Obama under the bus because now that they're done with the euphoria and we're dealing with the backlash that was spurred by him. We're talking unemployment when we come forward. I do want to point out a little tiny quick palate refresher since we were talking about HBCUs. Bloomberg Philanthropies just gave $600 million for HBCU medical school endowments. This was something he announced at the National Medical Association meeting. He said, he says the gift will empower new generations of black doctors to create a healthier and more equitable future. $175 million on top of that will go just to Howard, to their School of Medicine, Meharry Medical College and Morehouse School of Medicine. And $75 million of that will go to Charles Drew University of Medicine and Science. Xavier University will get $5 million, et cetera, et cetera. Just a little good news for your Tuesday, for your Talking Point Tuesday. As LA Mayor Karen Bass said, private sector can step up too with housing, with education, and so much more. We are KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Former President Trump is accusing Vice President Kamala Harris of stealing his idea of eliminating taxes on tips for hospitality and service workers. During a campaign rally over the weekend, Harris vowed to raise the minimum wage and eliminate taxes on tips. President Biden is scheduled to make what may be his biggest public appearance since dropping out of his re-election bid. Biden is returning to New Orleans today as part of an event to highlight his work on cancer research. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee's daughter is entering the race to finish her mother's term. Erica Lee Carter announced her candidacy Monday. Jackson Lee, an African-American, died last month after representing Texas's 18th congressional district. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Bank of America has powerful digital solutions for local and global businesses, so you can make every move matter. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. Bank of America, N.A., copyright 2024.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
An arbitrator denied an appeal by UCLA gymnast Jordan Childs to keep the bronze medal she won in the floor exercise in the Summer Olympics. Childs finished third in the floor exercise finals on August 5th, but a scoring change by the judges dropped her to 5th. The change moved Anna Barbosa of Romania into third place for the bronze. USA Gymnastics said it will continue talking with the International Olympic Committee in efforts to allow Childs to keep the bronze medal. After the arbitrating ruling, the IOC said Childs must return the medal. Childs is back in LA getting ready for fall semester classes at UCLA. Childs is entering her junior year. Mookie Betts, playing his first game in 7 weeks, drove in 3 runs Monday night to help the Dodgers beat Milwaukee. Betts missed nearly 2 months recovering from a broken hand. The Dodgers have won 4 straight and are tied with Cleveland and Baltimore for the best record in the major leagues. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Oh, man. Looks like Bobby needs a ride to the airport again.
Grab the keys.
Who's taking Auntie and her friends to the swap meet?
Grab the keys.
How about we, drop these boxes off at Miss Johnson?
Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, you're all about getting things done. So do it all in a Chevy SUV. From the versatile Equinox and sporty Blazer to the roomy Traverse, our lineup of SUVs will carry you through every adventure. All you have to do is...
grab the keys.
That's how we do. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Malibu, Colorado, Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Traverse Limited models. Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $28.60 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 15.8%. Must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/1/24.
Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
We're with Bridget, whose husband won't be home for months, and whose daughter is due any day. We're with Mike, who's leaving home to protect his family and yours. We're with all service members and their families who need community, connection, and maybe a bit of magic. Are you with them? Learn more at uso.org today.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Find a righteous rage And don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
We are indeed, and we're welcoming into the space right now a man who's part of the EDD's public affairs team. He leads the team on public information officers who represent the public face of the department and provide education and information to both the media and the public. Greg Lawson, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be with you.
EDD is the unemployment department, and, you know, that's where folks go to get help when they are out of a job, system we pay into out of our paychecks. But during COVID, really came into the spotlight because we realized how much we don't know, and how heavily we lean on unemployment in situations of emergency. Recent stock market developments have people saying we could be looking at a recession on the horizon, and certainly that, for me, brings to mind the need to be clear on what is available to us through unemployment.
Indeed.
So,
Most people,
yeah, go
I
ahead.
believe, they talk about EDD. EDD provides a variety of services. We're basically a state agency that provides temporary financial assistance for a variety of situations. Most people are familiar, of course, with our unemployment program, which provides assistance if you lose your job of no fault of your own. But we also service the state disability program, which can assist you if you have a non-work-related illness or injury. And we also are the first in the nation. We're the first state to offer paid family leave program, which provides assistance for individuals who need it most when it comes to bonding with a new child, taking care of a family member, or assisting a military family when their family member is deployed overseas. So EDD has a ton of benefits for Californians, and they really need to look into it to take advantage of those benefits.
Yeah, so the family leave, well, first of all, every state has their own unemployment department, right? I mean, California's is EDD, but every state has a similar agency, right?
That's correct, yes.
So if you're listening, because we have listeners in all 50 states and beyond, you may or may not have the same programs because every state program is subject to whatever those laws and rules and budgetary constraints are for their specific state, right?
That's correct. Yeah, each state has their own kind of version of EDD, which provides those financial assistance and unemployment benefits. It's
one of the reasons why people have made such a big deal about Minnesota, of course, in the spotlight now because Tim Walz is on the Democratic ticket running for vice president of the United States, and he has instituted a family leave program similar to what we have here in California. But that's not something that you find in all 50 states, is it?
Yeah, that's correct. So really, as I stated, California was the first to have paid family leave, but all states don't have it. I know there is some legislation going on now to try and do that, which is provide paid family leave for all 50 states, but it's not necessarily in all the states currently. But it is definitely a great program because there's a lot of opportunities. People want to have that opportunity to bond with a new child or, when they have an ill family member. It's a great benefit for that because, when you need to take time off to care for a sick loved one, you don't want to have to worry about, how much money you're getting and that kind of thing. You want to be able to really focus on taking care of that loved one.
So now this particular California paid leave, which is a relatively new program, how does it work?
Well, paid family leave, yeah.
Go ahead.
Paid family leave is pretty, it's been around for a long time. So we actually just celebrated our 20th anniversary for paid family leave. So we've been around. We were the first in the nation with paid family leave. And basically how it works is you can apply for paid family leave if you are working, you pay into it, of course. And if you are working, then you have the opportunity, your employer, you pay for it. And then if you have a ill family member or if you happen to have a child or whatnot, you maybe transition. Let's say you are a woman that's pregnant, and then you will be on, of course, state disability. Then you have the opportunity at that point to transition to paid family leave to bond with your child. So it gives you a little extra time off work So that's available to you. And then, of course, if you have a military family, they get the same program as well. And so you just go online to EDD and set up your portal, and you'll be able to apply that way for paid family leave.
Right, but okay. So the reason I'm saying it's relatively new is because the program had been pretty inaccessible to a lot of people in the past because you had to already start your leave before you could even apply for benefits. So the family leave, as we now know it, is pretty new.
Fairly new. I think it's there. I think mostly what happened is a lot of people didn't know how to access the program. And so there was a lot of maybe confusion or whatnot on what they need to do to access the program and take advantage of the family leave. There's a lot of parts to paid family leave, including there's a lot of men who, of course, are parents, and they didn't realize they had the opportunity to also take advantage of paid family leave. So I think there was a lot that people just did not understand on how to apply and how to get access. Some of the other states, it's a little more difficult, but here in California, pretty fairly, it's available, readily available to them. But there's a lot of things I think just people just didn't understand and how to get access to it.
There's 12 out of the 50 states that currently have paid family leave. So how does it work? You can do it if you have a baby coming, if you have a seriously ill or injured family member, or what other circumstances would allow us to take paid family leave?
Yes, if you have a military family, so let's say a family member of yours is deployed overseas, it gives you temporary financial assistance for that as well. So you have the opportunity, because during those times, people need money. They need it when they need it most. So we try to have the opportunity to give have access to funds. We're not necessarily going to replace all of their income, but we do give a chance to, kind of fill in the gap. So that's really what paid family leave is all about, is to fill in the gap during that time when they really need it most. And so that's really what we try to do, is give them that opportunity.
And the other thing that's more on the new side is it's longer now, right?
Yes, it's about the same. It's 8 weeks, so you'll be able to earn up to 8 weeks in payments. So usually about 60 to 70% of your weekly wages. And there's a couple of different ways that you can receive your benefits. One of the things that we just started is direct deposit. And so that's one of the things we're really excited about here. So you have the option, of course, getting your funds. If you are on paid family leave or unemployment, you have the ability to get your funds either via debit card or a check. But now we also give you the option to have it directly deposited into your bank account. So we'll give you definitely various options for you to be able to do that, to get your funds.
So this is an 8-week program now. You can, so what are my steps? What is step 1, step 2, step 3 of applying for this?
So I encourage everyone to go to edd.ca.gov /paid family leave. And right there, it has all the information you need. And it tells you how to do it if you're a birth mother, fathers, caregivers, and so on and so forth. And you apply online. And once you apply online, it gives you also on our website, it'll show your eligibility requirements, things of that nature. You'd set up a MyEDD account, and you'll be able to set up. And then that will give you access to start applying for your benefits, whether it's unemployment, paid family leave, disability, and so on. So pretty simple. It just kind of follow the steps, and it'll guide you through it.
And from what I understand, this still is being continuously modified and upgraded, so we could see even more changes to this in the future.
Sure. It's just as things progress and we see the needs that people have, we try our best to update the program.
Right.
So as things evolve, we try to update it because, really our main concern is really to be a branch for people when they need it, when they need it most.
Right. But
we're that branch.
But of course, the lawmakers are the ones that have to do things like extend the amount of time, or if they wanted to increase the amount of those benefits or whatever, that would be coming through lawmakers. But a lot of folks, like you, as you said, don't know this is where you turn. You think of unemployment for when you lose your job, but certainly this is another aspect of it. And how does that work for employers?
So employers, it's pretty much the same thing. Most employers kind of know what the benefits are, and we have information for employers so they can find out, what is, a lot of it's taken out of their check. So, I'm sure people are familiar with CASDI. They'll see that, of course, on their pay stubs. And so if your particular employer is paying into CASDI, which is actually what you're paying into, that's where the funds come from. And so you'll see that on your pay stub. You'll be able to see the CASDI, which is the deduction of their employment wages. And so one of the things that people need to know is, when you are employed and you're receiving a check, W-2, you want to make sure you're looking on your pay stub to see that CASDI. So if you're not seeing that, then you won't most likely be eligible for benefits because you do pay into the program.
Right. So the programs are actually funded by the workers themselves out of deductions from our checks. And folks don't know how to access them all the time. We'll talk a little bit more about that because as I mentioned, during COVID, the emergency phase, a lot of people realized all the things we didn't know about how to access those benefits when we need them. You're listening to KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
Oh no, stomach issues again?
Stomach issues?
Who are you?
Your pancreas. I could be the real reason for your diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose oily stools.
I thought it was my stomach.
People often do, but any of these symptoms could mean having a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and speak with your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey, checking in?
This is not just your flu shot appointment at Walgreens.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is getting your entire family vaccinated in one trip.
Hey, Mom?
And a snack on the way out. Get flu shots for everyone in your family, together. Schedule appointments online today. This is wellness made easy. Walgreens.
Vaccine subject to availability and for ages 3+. State and health-related restrictions may apply.
In California, the use of man-made stone is causing workers to get silicosis. Silicosis is a fatal disease caused by breathing in silica dust from cutting, polishing, or grinding man-made stone. To prevent silicosis, employers must provide their workers proper equipment, including water systems and NIOSH-approved respirators. Stop dusty and deadly practices. Learn more at worksafewithsilica.org. This is a message from Cal OSHA.
History is being made. LA Civil Rights and the LA City Reparations Advisory Commission is about to unveil a groundbreaking reparations report. Come learn more about the impact of the Black experience in Los Angeles. Join us on Tuesday, August 27th, 5 p.m. at CSUN's Student Union for the official release and panel discussion. For more information, call 213-978-1845 or visit laisforeveryone.com. Again, laisforeveryone.com. Be part of this monumental moment.
Did you know your life insurance is an asset you can sell? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. For almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. And at abacuspays.com, we've created a free policy value calculator so you can find out the worth of your policy in just seconds. There are no fees and no obligations. Get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Learn more at abacuspays.com.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust new Febreze car vent clips, now with 3 times greater scent control, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with new Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing, which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs.
Picking up! Oscar!
Hello,
KBLA listeners, this is Senator Steve Bradford, and I'm inviting you to the 21st Annual Gardena Jazz Festival, Sunday, August 25th at Raleigh Park. And this year's lineup will be amazing, opening up with Fernando Pullum Youth Orchestra, the Inner City Youth Orchestra Jazz Ensemble under the direction of Chuck Dickerson will be cooking with biscuits and gravy, the amazing saxophonist Mindy A. Bear, 8-time Grammy Award-winning a cappella group Take 6, the always soulful Mesa, and the grown and sexy Will Downey Jr. You won't want to miss it. Tickets are on sale. General admission is $30, box seating is $75, and unfortunately, our reserved seating is all sold out. So for ticket information, you want to go to GardenaJazzFestival.com/tickets. That's GardenaJazzFestival.com/tickets, or call 310-217-9537. Look forward to seeing you for a day of fun, music, and family on August 25th for the 21st Annual Gardena Jazz Festival. And remember, well, alcohol-free, smoke-free environment. See you soon.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DiPrima on First Things First.
It does, and we're talking with Greg Lawson with the EDD, looking at unemployment and other benefits, including paid family leave. I was impressed to see that more dads are taking advantage of this. More than 120,000 people last year, men in California, took time off to bond with new babies, and this is something new at the level of participation by men.
Right. Yeah, it's increased. I think as we started to really promote it even more, I think it's really given the opportunity for dads to kind of take that time to bond with the new child and give time for that bonding period. So we're really excited to see the uptick in men taking advantage of the paid family leave program for themselves.
It's interesting too because this is, exciting and new and you point out it's been around in California for a while, though it's a work in progress. Only 12 other states have it, but in other parts of the world, it's normal, right? So this is U.S. is a little bit late to the party on this.
Right. I think, like I said, I think a lot of times, with the hustle and bustle of life, people kind of don't really realize oftentimes what's right in front of them. And so, I think one of the things that, we here at ADD, we're trying, of course, we're going to modernizing a lot of things, making things a lot easier for the general public to gain access to the benefits that of course they pay for. And so
right.
we're really working to modernize and make things easier for people.
So, and with the basic, which is unemployment insurance, when you lose your job, as you said, through no fault of your own, you can
Correct.
apply. Where should we start?
So the fastest way to apply is to go through myedd.edd.ca.gov. And there you're going to create your account and you'll go through that portal and you'll be able to kind of follow the steps and then apply for unemployment. There's a couple of eligibilities. You want to make sure when you are applying for unemployment that you have, your personal information available to you, some employment history, some identity information like your driver's license, things of that nature. And then also any employment authorization documentation that you can provide. And then, of course, information for your employer and, of course, your last employer.
Do you think any of the challenges we encountered during the emergency phase of the pandemic have informed where we are now with the application and distribution process?
I think so. I think with anything that happens, you look and you kind of reevaluate and say, how can you make things better? One of the things that you definitely are trying to do is really focus on the customer experience. And so I think, with the pandemic and all the different things, you just never know, life can change in an instant as we saw with the pandemic. And so, one of the things you want to be able to do, especially from our standpoint as the state agency, we want to make things easier and accessible for people because, people don't do this every day. It's like anything else. You hope and pray that you never lose your job. But if you do happen to lose your job, we want to make sure that it's easy for you to access some assistance when you need it.
And I mean, there's more to this than meets the eye always. There are some exceptions to everything. I have a friend who was offered a job, had a job offer, left her job, and then that job offer fell through, and she actually ended up getting benefits.
Right. There's a lot of different ways that are eligible. What we do is, of course, once we receive all your documentation, it goes through a process of basically verifying things and seeing if you are eligible. There is an appeal process as well. So there's a lot of, factors. A lot of times people are self-employed, and so it's one of those tricky situations. You may be self-employed and you may or may not, receive benefits, so there's a lot of different factors that come into play. But what we try to do is just encourage you to go ahead and apply, because you never know what situation may happen. You never know how the appeals process may go through. So we encourage people, if you do happen to lose your job, of course, definitely if no fault of your own, just take the time to apply.
Yeah, you can't appeal something you haven't applied for, right?
Right.
We got a minute left here. What do you want folks to know?
Well, really what I want folks to know is basically we have benefits for you. We are there to really fill the gap. We're here. We're a state agency. Your tax dollars at work, as they say. So we really want you to, if you need it, to really take advantage of what's available to you. A lot of times people may get hurt. I remember when I was young, I got hurt playing basketball. Didn't know what to do. And that's not a job-related situation. But state disability insurance was available for me, so that I could get through a couple of weeks before I got back to work. So things like that, people don't really think about that are available to them. And so we really just encourage people to take the advantage, do the research, and go on EDD and find out what benefits are available to them.
EDD.ca.gov or myedd.edd.ca.gov. I'm on the page now, and apparently the direct deposit is not just for family leave. It's also for disability, unemployment, and more. So this may apply to you if you don't know about it yet. Greg Lawson, thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Tavis Smiley's up next. He's got a fully stacked deck for you, as usual. I'm Dominique DiPrima. Do I have time? Yes, I have time. I'm going to give you my favorite Maya Angelou quote. In the spirit of the happy warrior, she says, try to be the rainbow in someone's cloud. Don't forget to tap in on all social media. I'm at DiPrima Radio, DiPrima, and then radio. We are at KBLA 1580, wherever you hang out on the internet. Please like and follow and subscribe. History's now, and we are making it together. Until tomorrow, one love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Access on tips for hospitality and service workers. During a campaign rally over the weekend, Harris vowed to raise the minimum wage and eliminate taxes on tips.